Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I am your host and foreman, Douglas Scoundrels. Today we are assembling the Pandora Despair's Desire box, and magic of editing here. Here's the box. I don't have the actual box, I just have the sprues. But as you can see, it's a little bit more whimsical than the previous version, which we assembled not too long ago. Anyways, that's the box that I don't have in my hand. Here are the sprues. A lot of sprues here. Box contains one extra model than normal. Most boxes contain 6. This contains 7 because we have an extra child in our midst. But let's see. Here are our 3 minions. This is our totem, and then this is Pandora, our henchman Candy, and then baby Cade. So let's go ahead and look and start with Pandora. Let's go ahead and look at her instructions, and then we'll go over her assembly order. Specifically, this is Pandora Despair's Desire. Gotta remember, everyone has a title now, but we'll probably refer to this as Pandora 1, because this is a replacement for her original sculpt in 3rd edition, because we're old. Alright, so we're gonna grab both halves of the body here and here, and then we'll add the front half of the box that she's standing on. Then we'll do her head, her hair, and then finish with her arms. All right, so let's grab these 2 bits first. All right, here is Dora's left side with the cape, coat, or whatever. Let's add her right side. There's the 2 of them combined. Okay, let's do the second half, or front half of the box. It's going to go right there. Should have specified that she's standing on the lid and we're attaching the box itself. Or didn't she specify? I thought it was half and half, but in fact, she's standing on the lid and we just added the entirety of the actual box part of the box. Right, okay, now let's go ahead and add her head right there. Now, the nice thing is that it is on a very big tooth that sits deep in the neck, so it goes in real nice. Alright, let's add her hair on top of her head. Okay. Hair goes on just fine. Last bit is going to be her arms. Just going to slot right into these shoulder sockets. I'm sure that magic is safe. Okay, put her on a base. Pandora Tyrant Torn is done. The hardest part for her, I would say, is figuring out how to attach the box to her foot. And then maybe her arms, getting them to slot into both sides of her shoulders. Overall, pretty simple model. So let's keep going and start on our totem. Our totem, Poltergeist. We are going to see if we can attach the 2 halves of the bottom. Looks like we can. But once we attach those, then we will combine the 2 halves of the torso, this one and this one, and then jam them in the hole on the top of the bottom. And we can go ahead and attach the arms and the cape, finish with the head. So let's grab these 2 bits first. Okay, let's start with this one. This is the back. I believe it's the back anyways. Let's go ahead and add the front half of the lower, sort of lower legs. Kind of. It's a ghost. Alright, that looks good. Now let's go ahead and set that down and combine the 2 halves of the torso. The back half of the torso is the one that has the peg that will fit into the piece we just set down. And the front half of the torso has this little notch for the head. Alright, back half of the torso. Now let's add the front half. There's 2 of them. Those are seams. Now just take that peg and jam it right into our bottom half. Yeah, there we go. That. sure that goes in as far as possible. Mine actually had popped a little bit before it was in perfectly. All right, let's do the left arm. That's kind of a weird angle for the arm, but yeah, I had to check the render. I wasn't sure exactly how it went. Okay, let's do the right arm, which I think is going to be slightly less weird. There we go. Okay, second last bit, a nice cape thing she's got going on. Just gonna fit right across the shoulders. Okie doke, now the head. It's giving get off my lawn vibes. Okay, she's all done. Put her on a base. The Poltergeist is done. The hardest part for this miniature was, I think, figuring out how really it's just trying not to rip those chains off of it. They're a bit stiffer than a lot of other ropey things from like 2nd and 3rd edition, but still there is the threat there, so just be really cautious with those. And then I guess maybe the cape for assembly, I honestly don't remember. But yep, another pretty simple model. Let's move on. Alright, one of our two accursed children, Candy. We're gonna grab the body and then we'll do the thing she's standing on, as well as this extra bit of her skirt. And I'll grab this bigger chunk of her skirt, glue the bouquet to it, and then glue that combined piece to her, and I believe that shall be it. Might have a different order, we'll figure out as we go, but I'm just guessing from the instructions, which we'll look at now, and then we'll grab those two bits. Alright, it has been like a month since I attempted this build. I ran into an issue with her foot and the bit it connects to. I think the foot is slightly deformed on this miniature I'm assembling, but it shouldn't affect the assembly for you, so we're going to go ahead and continue doing that. So the bit we are attaching the foot to, you can probably already see where that foot is going to fit. Right here, the heel will be back here and the toe will be here, so let's attach that next. Okay. But as you can kind of see, there is this nice gap here that shouldn't be, and that's my reasoning for why I think the foot is deformed on mine, so there shouldn't be a gap for yours. Let's go and look at her heel real quick. It's all good. Just want to make sure that her posture is going to be what you want it to be, because she is going to be standing like that. So I have her ever so slightly leaning to her right. All right. Next is that one skirt piece with the flowers that are sort of dangling down, a singular flower that is dangling down. That's going to fit right here. Definitely not cover up that entire gap. This seam right here is going to be your biggest point of reference to whether or not it's seated correctly. However, the flower does kind of wrap around her knee, so if you could close this seam as much as possible too, that'd be great. All right, we're going to set this down, cut out our last two pieces, the rest of her skirt and the flowers that attach to it. All right, so we have a piece of skirt here. We're going to add the rest of the flowers to the bouquet, and the connection point is really weird, so I guess I'm glad I'm doing this video, and I apologize for taking so long to do it. So our big connection points that you probably want to look at is this sort of pill-shaped one here and the end of the stems of the flower. The pill-shaped connection point is on the skull. You see this right here, it's a skull, yeah, and here is where that connection point is, and then the stems of the flower will connect right here along this edge. The skull is effectively going to be looking to Candy's right, so if Candy is facing us, this is going to be kind of how it sets in to the other bit. Here, let's see if I can get that to work correctly. There we go. It's really hard to do this on camera, but that's how it's going to fit in. Now let me glue that. Okay. And see, our seams look nice. And now we can just cram this onto our candy, finish up her skirt, and she'll be done. Okay, took a little bit of wedging to get that in there and look decent, but there's our seam, and everything looks pretty good. Let's finally put her on a base. Candy's all done. The hardest part for her was, I guess, figuring out that foot for me, but actually really the bouquet, understanding how those two bits go together, the skirt bit and the flowers/skull bit. Yeah, and we'll say that's the hardest part, so let's keep going. For baby Cade, we're going to grab the big piece that is the majority of the model. Then we'll work our way from the bottom up. We'll do the teddy bear head that goes in there, then the arm with the knife and the other teddy bear head, followed by the teddy bear body, corpse, connected to the left arm, and finish with Cade's head. Alright, so let's grab these two bits first. Okay, we got the center bit of our Cade model. Now, first we're going to do the teddy bear head that sits on the ground. It's the individual teddy bear head. It has a big old tooth on the back, but that'll connect it right there. Okay. That's our head. Next is going to be the knife and the arm of the knife and the other severed teddy bear head. Arm is going to connect up here, and the head is attached to this chunk of the block. Okay, the arm connection was a little awkward, but if you attach it down here first, then it's pretty easy to slide into the arm into where it's supposed to go. Okay, so next is our teddy bear corpse. You can see where the leg of the teddy bear is going to fit, and then I believe the arm attaches up here somewhere. All right, better guidance. The arm connects back here close to the body of Cade, not on the outside, and also the leg here that's on the block will connect to the bit as well. Also it's sitting on top of the block, so several connection points I initially missed. Now this was hard for me initially because I tried to slot the leg in first, and that wasn't doing it for me. What you want to do is connect the butt to the top of the block and this leg, and once it's attached to this leg, figuring out how to get this leg into its spot and the arm into where it's supposed to go is a lot easier. Alright, let's do his head. Baby Cade's all done. Let's call, right, no, he already has a name. The hardest part for this one was the teddy bear body, getting that angled correctly. And that's really it. Just pretty simple builds. Let's move on to the minions now. Our first Sara is only 4 bits. Celebrate. We'll grab the back half of the body, add the front half of the body, and then the left arm and the head, and be all done. Alright, let's grab these 2 bits first. Okay, back half of the body. More the cape than the back half of the body, whatever. Let's glue the front half of the body now. Well, I gotta make a shape like that. Okay. The left hand right in here in this little hole. Alright, so the tooth that goes into that hole is on the top of the bit here. Whoops, that didn't let it cure. But if you push the hand in the way the instructions show you, which I don't think I actually announced the instructions this time. Whoops, a bit rusty. Anyways, once you push that, you align it like it shows in the instructions, you can definitely see the tooth that's supposed to fit up in there, and then I would definitely give it a push with your poking stick of choice, and that'll settle it in real nice. Now let's do the head and call her good. Okay, there's the head. Let's put her on a base. Our first sorrow is complete. We're going to call this one Celexa. It was 4 bits. Kind of hard to say anything was difficult, although putting the arms in after the cape was the hardest part, sure. The singular arm. Yeah, let's move on. Sorrow B is going to be very similar to the first Sorrow, but now we have both arms to attach instead of just one. So we'll just go ahead and go left to right. Grab the body, add the cape, do the left arm, and then the right arm, and then the head. Let's look at the instructions. I remember to say it this time, and then grab these 2 bits. Here is our body. We're looking at the front. Kind of hard to tell what the front is, but I believe these are knees. So we're going to add the cape thing right here. Okay, just hunching over to the side a little bit. That's fine. Oops. Right. Okay. Left arm, gonna go right into this hole. There's a big obvious peg for that to just jam in there. Now that probably would have been easier to do doing it before the cape, but I saw the opportunity of doing a full left to right, and I took it, and I don't regret it. It was easy enough to pop in there. Just took a little bit more fiddling than it would have if I did it first. All right, let's do the right arm in the same situation. Very obvious peg, just gonna fit right in that hole. Now, I completely messed this up, thinking the hands were gonna be sort of on the same plane, but then I actually checked the instructions and realized that I need to rotate this thing like 90 degrees, so there is definitely a way you can put it in the rung that will look correct. Just double check the render or the instructions. All right, let's do the head and color good. Okay, she is looking to her left, and that is... This is a weird pose, almost like she's dancing. I'm not going to complain. I love me some silly stuff. Alright, let's put her on a base. Our second sorrow is done. We're going to call this one Lexapro. The hardest part for her was the arms, again. Getting them in underneath the cape, and I'm really stretching for difficulty here. Not complaining. Okay, let's do the last one. Our third sorrow, Sorrow C, is kind of along the same lines. However, now we've separated the upper arms, which is effectively just sleeves, with the hands themselves. So 2 more bits in the last one, but we're still going to assemble it the same way. I'll grab the body, slap the cape cloak thing, upper shoulders on, and then we'll do each of the sleeves, followed by each of the arms. I don't know which sleeve is which yet, otherwise I'd tell you which, but this is going to be our right hand and our left hand, if that's a thumb. I think that's a thumb. And then we'll finish with our head. Okay, let's look at the instructions and we'll start with these 2 bits. That went on just fine. Okay. Now, our order is going to be, this is our left sleeve, right sleeve, left arm, right arm. So that'll give a little time to cure before we attach to the sleeves. All right, so again, this is our left one, this is our right one. Let's do the left one first. Also, that is going to fit right under here. There is a pretty obvious connection point, tooth on there. Okay, there's the right sleeve. That one was a little harder to jam in there, but it makes a lot more sense if you notice that she's sweeping her arms back, so they're pointed almost backwards on both sides. Okay, now we're going to do the left arm. It's going to fit right in here with the palm facing up. There it is. Pokey stick, very helpful getting that to slide in exactly where it should be. Now we do the right arm, same situation, palm facing up. This one not as symmetrical with the other arm as I initially thought, but yeah, there we go. Okay, let's do the head, this little spot up here. Sorrow is looking ever so slightly to the right, and once you see that the connection point includes part of the flabby bit, then it's a lot easier to put in. But, yeah, done. Put them on a base. Our third sorrow is done. We're going to call her Trintelix. The hardest part for this one was the sleeves and the arms, obviously, but I guess that's 4 bits out of the 7, so the right side was harder than the left for both the sleeve and the arm. So just put a little bit more detail into those. But that's it. Let's look at the whole box now. The Pandora Despair's Desire core box is done, containing Pandora, Despair's Desire, the Poltergeist, Candy, Cade, and 3 Sorrows. The hardest part for this box, I think I had the most issue with Candy's bits, but part of that was the deformed foot. But figuring out exactly how those bits went together was probably the hardest out of all of them, with a runner-up being the third Sorrow's arms. So that's what you need to watch out for, but overall, pretty simple box, and I'm still enjoying Weird, making things slightly easier as the editions go on. So I have been your foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, helping you build better Malifaux.